All right, today we're going to be talking about our lesson 5, which is adding some animations and doing some scene construction for our planets project. So I have a copy of where we left off in your user drive or your Google Drive. So if you go there, you should see this Space Lesson 5 student under the Lesson 5 folder. So you can open that up. And this has everything where we left off with this in lesson 2. Feel free to use your own file if you want. Just make sure you save it in the lesson 5 folder for the updates. All right, so we're going to talk about trying to create some movements. So we've got to rotate this guy around the sun, all of these planets actually, but we're going to start off with Mercury. So hopefully we kind of remember what we need to do here. If we want to animate something or make it move, we select it and we go over the properties and we go to movement. Then our type, well, our type's going to be circular because we want it to rotate in a circle. So I'm going to hit OK. Now, we're going to change some of these values. So first off, we're going to start with the angular velocity. So the angular velocity is how fast it goes in seconds. So at 180, this means it will go 180 degrees every second. So this would take 2 seconds to rotate around the sun. So we're going to make a little adjustment to that. We're going to make it angular velocity is 60. So that means it goes 60 degrees in 1 second. So doing the math there, you should realize that 360 divided by 60 is 6. So this will take 6 seconds to rotate around the sun. So we also need to set the radius and the center point. So our radius is how far we are from the center of this sun here. And the center of the sun, if you look down in your bottom right corner, you should see coordinates, and it's actually at 0, 400. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that to be 0 for my x value and 400 for my y value. But let's come back to the radius. So our radius, if we do the calculations, that's going to put us at 275 pixels away from the center of the sun. So we need to change that to 275. So again, that's just the distance from here to here. So I'm just going to test this and see what happens. You can see rotation. Amazing. All right, so you're going to have to redo this with the rest of the planets. Don't do the moon, because the moon has some trickier stuff that we'd have to deal with if we want to make it rotate around the Earth while the Earth is rotating around the sun. So you want to make sure you do the other 3 planets in the exact same way. Now, the values for setting them up are in your document, which maybe I can get too fast or not. All right. So there's the values that you want to set for Venus, Earth, and Mars. So after you're done with that, do the calculation for how long it takes for the each planet to get a full rotation in, and we can double check that and make sure our math's right if it's actually accurate or not. All right. So once you get done with all of these, you're going to realize that 2 of the planets don't come back, and there's a reason for that. So after you get them rotating, like Venus and Earth don't ever come back. And so let's take a look at that. So if I select Venus, when I come over here to my runtime properties, notice the destroy objects if too far from frame. That is selected. So once this thing gets off the frame, it just destroys it. So we don't want that to happen. We want to make it come back. So you'll have to do that for Venus and Earth. All right, part 1 is done. So make sure you save.